Bernie Sanders literally just said that now is the time to pass more provisions to help out the American people, show them that they're on their side to win in the midterm elections. Now, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Should they send this out? Will it help them win? Take a look at this really quick clip.
Now is the time, if you want to win an election, to say, you know what, I'm on the side of the vast majority of Americans, black, white, Latino. I'm prepared to take on greedy, powerful corporate interests who are enjoying record-breaking profits while you Americans can't afford health care, can't afford to send your kids to college, and are working for starvation wages. That, to my mind, is how you go forward and win.
So, stimulus provisions. We've been hearing promises for quite some time. There's tons of excess leftover funds sitting there. 600 to 700 billion to be exact. I've been keeping you guys up to date on that, and I have been keeping an eye on it. I'll let you guys know what unfolds with the money. And we're going to be seeing what they do because we just heard, in my last video, I let you know that the Federal Reserve is going to be increasing interest rates significantly. They outright said pain is on the way for our economy. There's going to be unemployment, stock market crashes, real estate is going to have a correction. They're saying there is going to be sustained pain, and we are likely going to be going into a Federal Reserve-induced recession, which we have heard that a recession will likely be the #1 cause to spark a fourth federal level stimulus check. So let me know your thoughts. With all of this unfolding and we're in midterms, should they send out more stimulus? Should there be a stimulus check, child tax credits, Social Security increases? Well, Bernie Sanders, I've got the video footage. We're going to watch the entire clip, is saying now is the time. Send it out. People need help. So we're going to take a look at this, you guys, and let me know your thoughts. And all of this is circulating around the midterm elections. As you know, that is the primary focus for Congress at this time. They can go literally 2 years with nothing getting done, and then boom, elections are coming up, and then all of a sudden you'll see things start happening. And I'll keep you up to date on this. I'll cite all the sources, make sure that you guys know what's going on. I'm going to put the video clips on the screen so you can see them for yourself. And if you appreciate that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to see more content like this. And any specific questions for me, Instagram, SteveRam3. Don't fall for the scammers that tell you to contact them on WhatsApp, you guys. Also, I've got a second channel. If you want additional help to try to change your life financially, I'm putting content on there as well. Things that I've learned over the years that have helped me so I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. I got a little bit of breathing room. I can spend more time focused with my family, you guys. I'm putting stuff on there to help people out on that second channel, Steve Ram Finance. And also, you guys, if you are looking for stimulus check provisions on different levels, I've got states, cities, counties, an entire list of the whole nation. Took me 3 months to assemble this all in one place, easy to access from your phone, your laptop, your tablet, www.reliefroadmap.com. And I'm adding more programs to it. There's no guarantee that there's anything in your area, but just you have the reassurance of knowing it's all right there, and I'm continually keeping this updated for you guys. So that's available to you as well. But with that being said, take a look at this video footage, hear it for yourself. Let me know your thoughts. Bernie Sanders on getting stuff done right now. And that's the way he's saying to win the elections.
There are a whole bunch of competitive Senate seats this year, some of which are within a few points that are going to determine control of the chamber. According to 538, Democrats right now have a 71% chance of holding the Senate. Their model appears to show Democrats could pick up as many as 7 seats, so that would be a winning the lottery kind of night, right? Now, this is in a year where, even just 6 months ago, it sure looked like Democrats were screwed. No hope. But now the Democrats have a shot. What would it look like to have a majority of Democratic senators who could, for instance, override the filibuster, move on popular legislative priorities like guaranteeing the right to an abortion? What possibilities are there if Democrats buck history in the midterm elections? Joining me now is Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, chair of the Senate Democratic Outreach Committee. Senator, first, let me take your temperature on how you think things are looking for retaining control of the Senate, these tough contested races, in an environment that historically has been very difficult for the party that controls the White House.
Well, I would say that things are better than they were a few months ago, but as you indicated, there are many, many seats out there that are within the margin of error, so we don't know how these things will end up. But to my mind, Chris, to answer your question, if Democrats are going to do well in 2022, in my view, they've got to stand up very firmly for working families, make it clear that we are seeing unprecedented levels of corporate greed, unprecedented levels of concentration of ownership in this country. All the while, working families are struggling, and in many instances seeing a decline in their standard of living. So I think now is the time, if you want to win an election, to say, you know what, I'm on the side of the vast majority of Americans, black, white, Latino. I'm prepared to take on greedy, powerful corporate interests who are enjoying record-breaking profits while you Americans can't afford health care, can't afford to send your kids to college, and are working for starvation wages. That, to my mind, is how you go forward and win.
One of the big accomplishments of the unified democratic governance was the announcement of the president's cancellation, $10,000 of student debt, $20,000 for those who are getting Pew grants. You can chart a clear trajectory from your presidential campaign that championed that issue along with Elizabeth Warren to it actually happening. And there was a lot of back and forth. Is this going to cause a backlash? Are people going to be resentful because I had to pay my loans? What is your sense of the outcome of this in terms of what it's meant for what it's meant for people's lives and also what it's meant politically?
I have the radical idea that good policy is good politics. And it is good policy to cancel student debt in this country. I cannot tell you, Chris, how many young and middle-aged people I have talked to who have hesitated, having children, can't afford to buy a house, whose lives are in economic trouble because they're paying off these huge student debts. So what Biden did was the right thing. I would have gone further. It's what the people want. I'm not going to tell you it's 100% popular, but it is what the people want. And you know what? If you do what the people want and not what the corporate world wants or billionaire campaign contributors want, you win elections. If you raise the minimum wage to a living wage, you win elections. If you expand Medicare to include dental and hearing and vision, which recently in a poll had only 87% support, you win elections. If you build housing and create jobs, you win elections. If you give tax breaks to the rich, you're probably not going to win. So my own view is there is an agenda out there, and the cancellation of student debt is one part of it. But we've got to go further and show working families we're on their side.
There are people on the other side of it. Ted Cruz has been plotting with folks to try to challenge it in court. Republican legal challenges are expected to start once the applications start rolling out. Legal experts say it's possible the administration's plan could be frozen by a federal judge. What do you think about this plot to try to find someone that is standing to block this in court?
Well, I think it sounds to me very much what happened with the Supreme Court ruling on abortion. It turns out that the overwhelming majority of the American people think it is women who have the right to control their own lives, not the Republican Party. Strong majority of the American people think we should cancel student debt. And if Senator Cruz and others want to challenge that, I think that's going to hurt them politically. It's the wrong thing to do, and I think it hurts them politically.
One of the most striking features of the last 2 years, which have been strange in many ways, obviously coming out of the worst parts of the COVID pandemic still with us, inflation high, labor market's very tight, has been this raft of union organizing, unlike anything that we've really seen in, I think it's fair to say, decades. The NLRB showing the union elections won by mid-year. You can see that spike there in 2022. It's been about 20 years since we've seen this. What do you think's going on here?
It ain't hard to tell you, to figure out. Workers are working, in many instances, longer hours for lower wages, and with inflation, they're falling further and further behind you. You want to know what's going on? In the last 49 years, real wages today are lower than they were 49 years ago, despite an increase in productivity. Almost all of the new income and wealth is going to the people on top. And what working people are saying, excuse me, I can't afford to buy a house, I can't afford to send my kids to college, and yet during the pandemic, the billionaire class saw a $2 trillion increase in their wealth. That's what's going on. People are standing up, fighting back. We've been involved in many of these strikes. We're involved in this railroad situation right now, where you're seeing the most ugly type of corporate greed imaginable. Railroads, 5 major railroads, made $20 billion in profits last year. Meanwhile, for the last 6 years, they laid off a third of their workforce. And when workers get sick and they have to stay home, they are in a position to lose their jobs. So what you're seeing right now are workers saying enough is enough. You guys on top, you can't have it all. We need an economy that works for all of us. unions are one vehicle that help people get decent wages and working conditions.
You know, I have to say, as someone who, covers this kind of stuff, it came as news to me that railroad workers don't get sick days. I think it came as news to the President of the United States. Hopefully that's going to change. We're going to see if they're going to ratify this new contract, but that appears to be one of the changes. Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So there you have it, you guys. That was Bernie Sanders. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Should they send out more stimulus provisions? Should they stop any spending whatsoever, not even existing funds, to stop this inflation, which we got word from the Federal Reserve is out of control? Let me know, you guys. Now, regardless, whatever happens, as you know, here on the channel, I will keep you up to date so that way you can stay in the know of what's taking place. And if you appreciate that, don't forget, if you made it this far and you haven't already, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. Any specific questions, shoot them to me on Instagram at SteveRam3. Check out the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance. And also, Relief Roadmap is available so you can have access to all of the resources across the nation all in one place, you guys. And I'll keep you up to date. Whatever unfolds, if there's stimulus checks, stimulus provisions, if they do or do not, whatever unfolds, if our economy just tanks, I'll let you know here in the channel so that way you are up to date, and I'll provide any information that I can that can help my community, the Ram fam. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.